Hi guys, Behr here, Behr Hill. So here we are, we're back. Now we're starting to do all the painting. We're doing basically priming everything, and then once we prime everything, we're going to start with the colors. So this took roughly 45 gallons of primer sealer. This is a Kilt's PVA product. You can see it's kind of like a lighter gray white going over all the plaster, all the drywall rather, and we basically do that in the entire house. So it was 8 hours of spraying this stuff. Worked pretty well. The Graco airless is really good. I put the right tip on it. I had a 617 on there, so it did a pretty good and quick job. Basically, I used the 5-gallon pails to feed it, and we just kept spraying until we were done. I first tried to suit up and everything so I wouldn't get spray on me, but that suit turns out to be extremely hot, super sweaty in there, so I switched to long sleeves and shorts, and it was fine. The overspray actually is easy to wipe off. It dries before it kind of hits you, so it wasn't like I was getting painted myself, but the mask is still required, so you don't breathe that junk. But overall, you can see a little bit of overspray from the Graco sprayer, but it's not bad at all. These are airless, so it works pretty good. And we had basically zero trouble with it. Angie was helping me move. She was moving the scaffold. We did the high spots first, and then we basically rinsed and repeated through the entire house. I did the hard part first, which was the garage. The scaffold was already in there, so that's what we did. And then we just moved around the house, spraying everything, and you can see how quick of a job it does. So we're trying to get all the painting done and get in preparation for the cabinets. We decided to just go ahead and start painting everything. We were initially going to do just the kitchen and the bathroom, so we wouldn't hold up any of the cabinet install. But it turned out everything, time-wise, worked out really well. Hey guys, we take your Behr Hill. So here we are. We're priming the house. So we've got some Kilt's PVA. It's supposed to be a pro primer sealer for sealing drywall, fresh drywall. So we're trying to make everything consistent, seal it up so the paint adheres better and it's more consistent in color. So we're hitting that with everything. We're doing ceilings, walls, you name it. If it's got drywall on it, we're squirting it. We did the garage first because that was the big room and the scaffolds in there. We're gonna have to move the scaffold in the living room so we can do the upper section. But I'm running around doing the left side of the house where the offices are and the spare bedroom apartment thing. And I'll try to knock that out today, and then by tomorrow, which is Friday, actually it's Thursday tomorrow, we'll try to knock out the right side of the house and the game room. So anyway, we're moving along. We're on our 4th 5-gallon jug of primer. So it goes pretty quick. It's supposed to be anywhere from, and this is really funny how they do it, 200 to 400 square feet. So it's either half or double. So I don't know where we're at. We're probably around 300 square feet for a gallon. So that's, times 5, whatever. We have 12,000 wall feet, square feet on the walls, and around 30, including the garage. Let's see, 3,600 square feet. We're not counting the living room ceiling because that's about 600. Anyway, moving on, we're going to switch back to time lapse and continue. So prior to the spraying, you of course have to tape everything up. Angie's doing taping all the windows that were used to open. The ones that are fixed, like the one on the right there, plastic was already on it. You can see the texture when we were spraying the texture. That's we just left everything intact, and then we added tape and protection anywhere else we had to. Here I am doing this is still primer, and a lot of it. Hey guys, we take here. So May 26th, we're continuing our priming. I'm waiting on a delivery actually with the knotty point for the ceiling in the living room, so I'm not starting until I get that. Now let me show you what's going on. Here's what it looks like when it's primed. It's at least one consistent color, so that's the good part. It's looking nice. Everything's nice and flat. We did the kitchen already. I just put the scaffold in here, so we're gonna do the upper areas all around. And then I'm going to move over to the game room and the master bedrooms for the priming. And I think I'm going to finish that all today. Angie was wrapping everything for overspray, etc. I did most of this wall already. You can kind of see where I'm not sure the camera picks it up, but I kind of stopped right there. And the rest is just, right now, just the texture, color, whatever. And that'll get sprayed in a minute after the delivery. This side is not done yet, but on the side that is, it looks so nice. It's much smoother looking because all the color is kind of like a white, almost like a gray, super light gray. Looks really good. Then also, again, the drywall guy did an awesome job. It looks fantastic. So once we sprayed everything's nice and flat, and it should be ready for paint. We hope to start paint later today. So, well, maybe not. Maybe tomorrow, Friday, 27th. But I think we can finish the priming today. That'd be a huge goal. And it goes pretty quick. I can do a fairly large room in about an hour. And there's Angie. Yeah, she's taping off the stairs underneath and all around, just so I don't spray everything. And then once I do this, we'll move upstairs and call it good. Right, Angie? Right. Quick correction, we're not gonna start paint, we're gonna do ceiling paint first. Well, I guess that's technically paint. I wouldn't call it color. We did tint it a little bit. We don't like white. So it's like a little bit of an off-white. Just to give it a little bit of color. The stuff I'm using for priming is this stuff. Kills, PVA, personal, blah, 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 blah. And it's made for the right sheen of paint we're using. I guess I probably mentioned the fact that we bought a whole bunch of other stuff from Behr paint. It said drywall sealer and primer. Guess what? It's not recommended for satin finishes or any gloss. So they want, I guess, just for a flat finish. So not what we're doing. So I take it all back, swap it out, and make it all good. Anyway, we're gonna switch to time lapse after and enjoy. So the fun part with the primer sealer, you can spray everything. You didn't have to worry about masking, different colors off from each other. Just put a nice coat on everything, and you can tell when it dries, it turns kind of a matte looking finish. It did take, since the house is pretty tight, we did have can't have the windows open because we taped them all up. So we had the doors open, but regardless, it took a little longer for it to dry because there was no real airflow in there. And I believe these days we're starting to get pretty warm. When I'm making this video, we're in the hundreds right now, consistently for several days. So it's a pretty warm construction crew right now. So, but anyway, we made good use of it. See, Angie, she was my motor on the scaffold, just moving me around, and we just hammered this out pretty quick. Finally up in the game room. No ladder required there or anything else, just kind of ran around, sprayed all that, and then that was the last bit we had to do. We did try to put as much tarp down on the floor to keep, well, it was too late because some of the drywall stuff got on the floors anyway, so we'll have a little bit of cleanup there. And she did most of the cleanup after we do the paint, and you'll see that later, but boy, what a mess. It was nice to see floors again after we took the plastic up and everything. But here you see me just going like a monkey, just spraying everything and knocking it out. So we, for the primer, we went through five gallon pails. It was 49 gallons, sorry, of primer. So quite a bit, but it needed it because the drywall will suck in the paint, and it could be inconsistent because of the taping and all that stuff. So this part's always recommended. I'm not sure every construction crew does this. They probably should, but they may not. And hey, here we are painting. You can see slight different color change. This is a ceiling paint. So we're not into white. White's kind of it's too stark for us. So we did a little bit of an off-white. It's kind of a little creamy white, and you can kind of tell the color right now because of the wall contrast. But once you'll see we're going kind of gray blues for the rest of the house, you'll see it works really well with it. So that's kind of a cream white, whatever you want to call it. And now we move on to color. So we did the garage first. I think we moved the scaffold in there ahead of time, and we're going with what's called a offshore blue or something like that. It's got a real nice note to it. It's a little bit on the gray side, and these are all satin colors.
So correction on the blue, it's called Distant Shore Blue, but regardless of the name, it's a Behr paint. It's their premium ultra blah blah paint. They have all these stupid names for these things, but anyway, it's got a supposedly primer in there, so one coat does all thing. And it was pretty straightforward to do. We bought a couple of paint shields, that's what they're called, so I can spray and just move along fairly quickly without taping. I tried everything from taping to cutting in with a paintbrush, etc. before I sprayed. We still had overspray, so I just gave that up and started using the shield and continued through the entire house. I believe Angie wasn't there when I was doing this part, so I just moved myself on the scaffold. It went pretty quick, so I can usually grab the rafter on the scaffold and move the scaffold along. It's a little harder because the scaffold's like in the middle. You can see where I'm bending over trying to spray the lower part of that same wall. So a little more challenge, but no big deal. And it went fairly quick. Even though it's time-lapse, you can kind of see that this probably took 15-20 minutes to do. So yay, big step. So while I was completing major parts of the house, Angie was ripping the plastic off the windows. Finally, after a year and a half, whatever it was, we can see out the windows, and they are nice. These are the clearest windows I've ever looked through. I have no idea why there must be the tinting in them or whatever. But there's some kind of special glass, blah blah, insulated, etc. But Angie was cleaning up all the windows, taking the plastic off the ones that we could, where we're still going to paint. What a trooper. And then she's on the scaffold taking off all the junk on the what we call the kitchen windows, the living room windows. The tape, the longer you leave it on, the more of a pain in the butt it is. And also with the texture and all the layers of paint, Angie had to cut with a razor blade or whatever the tape along the edges, and then slowly try to pry that stuff off. So she had fun doing that for hours, and I had fun painting for hours. So we got it done. You can kind of see how time consuming this was, because this is time lapse, and you can see how long she's been sitting at this one window. So that's kind of an unfun job, but needs to get done. So I started doing a little bit of the detail work, cutting in a little bit. This stuff is probably the hardest because it's got the corrugulations in the ceiling, so I try to be nice and tight on the lines, which is a little harder, just a little more patience required. I just did this just because I had not much else to do that day, but later on when we do the darker colors, we do get some family help to help us do the nice tight lines on the color transitions and along the windows, and the caulking around the windows as well. We are digging the blue though. The black doors and windows look fantastic with the blue. And then of course with the contrast of the floor, it's going to be, we're going to call it a saddle leather color. It's a stain acid wash. I did pick that up. I'm making a video about a week, almost 10 days past filming of this, but I picked up many gallons of the stuff. I'll show you that when we do it. The big thing's going to be the cleanup before we can get to the floor. So we had a little bit of a mix-up on what we're doing next, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Hey guys, May 27th. Yee. Well, we started painting, right? So you saw other parts of the videos where we did the primer sealer, the kills stuff, just to seal the drywall. And then we started painting. First thing we painted was basically the garage, just so we could open the door. I still have to do the cut-ins on the top part where it meets the ceiling, but aside from that, just touch-ups. But we did this just so we could open the door and let some air movement. And let me do a quick walkthrough. We spent day yesterday painting. We're starting with the light blue. It's kind of a gray blue. Quite a few walls are that color, and Angie spent some time taking off all the film on the doors and the windows. You can finally see outside. It's phenomenal. big step here. So we're basically running through, we ran through 10 gallons of this blue. We're 3 gallons short, so I have to go get some more. But all the stuff that's gonna be light blue is blue. Bathroom, windows, and she's done everything I've done that's painted. She's been removing the film on it, and it's looking like we wanted it to. So finally you can see outside, nice and clear. Feels really good. And she's over here scraping the plastic off the big windows over here. This is the, what we're calling the apartment, right? Hi Angie. Rolling. So she's doing the paint in the butt part. Trying to get all the tape off. This tape is great, but it sticks when it's on there too long. It doesn't want to stick, and then it sticks. So anyway, this is all kind of done. I did some cutting with the blue. I still have to go and you can see a little overspray. I'll spray with the sprayer, and I had that big spatula looking thing to not get, you know, get as much of the ceiling to the wall connection as possible. But anyway, nothing in here. These are different colors. But so a little bit of cleanup, no big deal. It's kind of expected. It still went really fast. So the spray, the graco, is fantastic. Here it is, sitting quietly waiting for tomorrow. So we did quite a bit of the blue, and then we ran out of paint. So you'll see it kind of beep, and that was the end of that. We still have upstairs to do, so we'll need probably 3 gallons. But there it is. Quick walkthrough on that part. Did the pantry as well in the light blue, and these are going to be medium blue, and that's a dark blue. And you'll see that. I don't think tomorrow, probably Monday. We're going to continue with light blue. And then we have a Memorial Day party to go to, so I doubt we'll get too much done tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, look at the view. Wow, finally, this is where we've been bedroom. Fantastic. Anyway, should let a lot of light in. Angie undid the windows up there. They still have to be cleaned, of course, but anyway, they're letting light in finally. So, making a little progress. So we may hop over to Home Depot tonight and get the 3 gallons. I'm sure, actually we added we're doing a light gray and a charcoal gray for some accent walls. And a couple of the bedrooms are gonna get those colors as well. And then we decided that the fireplace, initially it was gonna be blue. We changed that to silver, to the light gray. And that should work fine because the walls beside it are the charcoal, so it should pop. Plus, it's paint. If we don't like it, we'll paint it a different color. So, no big deal. Anyway, we're looking forward to it. Thanks for watching. We'll talk at you later.
All right, so May 30th, and here I am starting the first other color. So this is what we call the medium blue. I believe it's called arrowhead or something like that. Again, Behr paint. I'm doing the hard parts first, which I find to be in the tight locations. And trying to get the overspray to a minimum is more difficult now because the colors are quite different from each other. The light blue on top of the ceiling, you know, you couldn't really quite tell. But anyway, here's an attempt where I tried to tape off the ceiling so I'd get less overspray on it. And it kind of worked, but you see that big puff of blue on the ceiling now. So didn't quite get away with it. The guard works, but the air gets underneath, or the spray gets underneath it and still hits the ceiling. You see little puffs of blue all over the place. So anyway, I tried several different things, and then I basically went back to no tape and just doing the guard. But this went fairly quick, right? You can tell how fast I'm moving. Single coat works great. I just, whatever I could hit, standing there, just running through it. Finished up fairly quick. We were actually very happy with how fast the paint went. It was surprising to me that we actually got it done in a couple, 3 days, maybe 4 days of full paint. That's all the colors. So anyway, happy with it. Hopefully you're starting to get the idea of what we're doing here. We basically have 3 different blues. You'll see a dark blue going on later. This is the medium one, which goes on quite a few walls in the house. Definitely in the living room, dining area, and let's see where else. in the apartment as well. So these are, we call them contrast colors because they play together. They're on the gray side again, but they make it feel really, really nice in there. The way the light hits it, you can see the cast of when the light goes through the windows and hits different areas in the house. There's almost a shade difference in the hue of the paint, so it's pretty neat. But anyway, we like it. Hopefully you guys do too. You know, not everybody's into blues, but we had blues in our other house, and we continued the theme here, along with just a hint. The floors are the same color as the other house as well, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, fun. So on the stairway, I didn't tape that, but I put tape along where the coagulations are on the wall. That's kind of a theme wall, right? You can see the container walls. I put tape up there because I had to basically put tape and then exacto the coagulations so we'd have a nice tight line. And then of course I used the shield. So you can see me wiping the shield all the time. So what happens is you get a little bit of spray on the shield and then it starts dripping all over the place. So you have to wipe it or do something with it. So it's kind of I mean, it's a pain to use, but it's better than not using it, obviously. Or we'd have to have maybe 6-inch tape on the ceilings. That probably would have worked. So I finished up all the medium blues. So now we're doing switching over to the light gray, and which is the chimney, fireplace area, and 2 bedrooms get all three main walls in there that color. Just to break it up a little bit from the blue, but it's a nice cool gray. Feels nice, and to me it looks, when it dries, it looks very much like light concrete. So right up our alley for kind of the modern look. And now for something completely different. So here we are. We're going to start the charcoal. We're calling it charcoal. It's some kind of a it's pretty close to it. It's kind of a dark gray, black, and that's going to be on the accent wall on the whole back side right there, and a couple of walls in the spare bedrooms. So this went on pretty good. A few days later I noticed that even though it looks like I sprayed everything really good, you can still see a little bit of white, so there's going to be a little bit more cleanup on this area. And it was hard to see because of the light coming from the window. It kind of bounces, so I could not see that I wasn't doing really good coverage. But anyway, it worked out. It's not a big deal. And we used, I believe, 3 gallons of this dark color. It was surprising how much we used of this, and I guess they have a different coverage rate. But their coverage rates, again, like I said, was anywhere from 200 to 400 feet. So that's a huge difference in capacity. I don't see how you can not paint, put a good amount of paint on the wall. So I'm not sure how you get 400 out of this, but anyway, our calculations were based on 300 a gallon, and we got that wrong in a couple of colors, so I had to buy 1 or 2 more cans of stuff. So where you see the coagulations on the second floor ceiling, we're going to leave that alone. We're calling that character from the containers. Initially I was going to put a header on there, we'll see, but we're just going to leave it. I'm going to paint the whole thing gray, charcoal gray, and move it over to the left side and call it good on this part. There you go, Angie's helping me move again and get that knocked out, and we're good to go. So the last blue, this is the dark blue. It's called Inked, and it's got a more of a blue hue to it, but it's pretty dark. I really like this color. So my office gets 3 walls of that and 1 light blue. So I'm kind of into the darker blues, considering my truck is that.
Hey guys, we're here. So May 31st, and we just finished painting. Well, the main part of painting, which is spreading a lot of paint, and then now we got to go and cut and do the final detail work. I'm using the Graco sprayer. I've got the a 517 tip on there, and it does a lot of paint. So I tried various methods of not getting it everywhere, like over here, a little overspray. You know, I just think it's part of it. What are you doing, Wiki? What are you doing? Okay, nothing. Anyway, finished, so we did a little, we'll see how it goes. This is charcoal. That's kind of a light gray. It looks very concretey, so pretty good. There's Angie cleaning up. This looks funny over here because the fridge goes right there. And you'll see by the fridge possibly, but that's going to be a whole wall of cabinets. They go from the counter to the ceiling, so no worries there. We'll clean that up. And just getting ready to take the plastic off the windows here. This is going to be mostly cabinets all along this area, stove, cabinets. I went ahead and sprayed it anyway. Yeah, whatever. But that's a dark blue. Then we have a medium blue, which is kind of everything's on the kind of a grayscale. And it took 3-4 days to do all this, which wasn't too bad. First part was, as you saw, doing the primer on the drywall. Now let me just walk through the house. It's looking really, really cool because now you can see outdoors. The windows look like they're not even there. So it's feeling really nice in here. Let me walk into the master. We did a charcoal back wall. I think this wall was supposed to be actually a medium blue, but it's a light blue. So charcoal, and then we go to the dark blue right there. The camera looks like a little more blue than in reality. It's more of a darker blue, and that's just the way the camera works. We're trying to clean up. We're trying to do the sockets, take out all the crap from those. I'm going to be cutting in, cleaning up all the extra paint overspray, and then of course the cleanup never stops. It's amazingly messy, the drywall part, but now the fun stuff starts. We're opening up all the boxes for the electrical, so I can start doing those eventually. We're not doing those right away. We're actually trying to rush to do the floor. So my next bit of work will be floor. Not to fix that, it's a little twisted, no big deal. It's not even screwed in, it's just sitting there. That's a 240 volt for the dryer. If we walk into our other bedrooms and offices, we've got a lot of stuff picked up from the floor already, but this is my office. I like dark blue, so I painted 3 walls dark blue and only a couple of walls light. So that's kind of my thing. And she wanted the other way around, so she got more light walls. 1 feature wall, all good. The windows look fantastic, I might have to say. Everything's looking like it should. Starting to look legit, in our opinion. Dark paint, you can see all the overspray. Oh my god, it's a mess. I had one of those big giant plastic protectors to try to not get overspray. And we did a little bit of a feature there. This is the same color as on the fireplace. So it's kind of I'll call it concrete, but it's a light gray. It feels really good. It's a very, very soft color. A lot of people are doing it for their main walls in the houses nowadays. Get the gray notes in. But this is what the apartment looks like. Feature wall. Finally start seeing outside the windows. That is so cool. They look huge. They're 4x6. I guess we could have gone 3x6 and it would be just fine, but it is what it is. Like over there, that's a 3x6. So I just go running around, taking all the stuff off. I tried not spraying in the corners right there because the big giant spectral cover thing doesn't really work all that great in corners. And it's very hard to control the throughput with the sprayer. You can turn it down quite a bit, however, it starts getting a little funky on the spray pattern. So let me go upstairs. Finally got the, so we textured, as you can tell, the feature walls. I think that was an extremely good move on our part. There's going to be a beam right along there to hide all the connection between the containers. And this is the game room. So most of it's dark, just as an ambiance thing. Light color on the sun side. And we have some touch up to do, obviously. And just trying to get all the cardboard and stuff up. I'm going to help her in a minute, but I'm doing this video. So it looks pretty neat. It's gotten darker in here because we put dark colors on the walls. But once we get all the junk off the windows, it's going to open it up again, make it all look floats a lot of light. Anyway, that's about it. We'll do some more videoing when we're. I don't know if we're going to show you guys, touching up paint, because that's going to probably on the boring side. but we'll run through shots just to see and show you guys what our progress is and how it's going. But it's looking pretty cool. We're gonna, our cabinet guy, just FYI, had an appendix operation. Oh, a little wind action. So he wasn't able to do cabinets this week. I don't think he's gonna delay everything for a week because he can't lift everything. But the cabinet carcasses and all that stuff is done. They're doing the final stuff on them, and then probably next week they're gonna install them. So we made it. We actually got all the paint on the walls for them in all the rooms, so they can just blast the cabinets out. And then we can call our countertop guy and finally get those going and move on from there. Anyway, we'll talk at you later. Appreciate you watching. See ya.
So here's a quick little sped up time lapse of pulling the plastic off the window. Want to show you that this is what we have to do on every single one of the windows and the doors as well. So you cut around the edges and then you start yanking on the plastic, and you get the window just clears out really nice. And it's fairly clean, so there's nothing underneath. Of course, this is from the factory, and it worked pretty well. So take our time and then basically take the plastic off, and then later on come back and take time on taking the tape off. Well, I'll let you guys watch the rest of this if you want. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. This is the end of the taping and taking all the plastic off the windows so we can get light and finally see outdoors. Next coming up will be interesting work doing the knotty pine ceiling. We switched over to doing that. We were going to do the floors, then we decided to do the knotty pine ceiling first, and that took 4 days. That was fun. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll talk at you later. Bye.